So guys, today streaming went pretty good. It did take a few minutes to get everything set up, but afterwards I kind of locked in and did some work, which is the whole point of starting the stream for, to keep myself accountable. But after that, I was doing some or watching some mindset videos, and something really clicked that it makes me really want to focus on how I actually think, how my mind actually works, and the stories it comes up when I am faced with something I am uncomfortable doing. And I say this not lightly, but I really even if anything has to happen this week, that would be the one thing I want to put 100% of my focus on. Because I realize, guys, it literally everything, like your failures and success, is all a mindset problem. Like, I have read dozens and dozens and dozens of books, probably not that much, like maybe 2 dozens, right? Like, spread from self-improvement, business, spirituality, finance, and even some, dating, right? And I read all these books, knowledge packed. And if you were to have a conversation with me on a specific topic, then maybe I could say something, just a, surface level thing that may amaze some people, because knowledge is abundant and knowledge is quite honestly universal. But one thing separates, right, a seeker and someone who just kind of spectates, is that a seeker has a total different mindset. And I say this because, with all these books I've read, how many of those principles have I actually used in my day-to-day life? Like a handful. Like, it is literally, I can probably count them on my fingers. It is that scary. And the thing is, the reason why I don't use those principles is not because they are not valid, but because there is something holding me back from using them. For example, I'll be talking to someone else. I'll be perhaps meeting someone totally new at a conference or at a networking event, and I'll read all these books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like, I'll probably use one of these principles, like, you have to show your appreciation to people that deserves them, or perhaps if you want to criticize, make sure you speak their good before you criticize, right? So you have all these techniques, but yet how many do I use? Shout them. Because my mindset is that I am afraid of how others will judge, or I am afraid because in my past life, I was rejected or I was laughed at because I was this and this and this. And this mindset stops you from acting. Likewise, I read all these relationship books, and really, how many times have I gone out to approach a lady? Nil. Because a part of me, right, perhaps even just this almost scared of girls, because when I was growing up, I was always this lone wolf, right? This fat Asian kid, being laughed at, being bullied, and that really stuck with me. And I guess I really took that belief to heart, and therefore, like, even now, like, although it's getting better, I am still not truly social and outgoing, and that is definitely something to work on. But you guys see, it is always a mindset issue, which is why I really want to focus on my mindset. And I like, if anything has to change this week, apart from me actually working on my project and getting it done this time, is to work on my mindset. Is to understand that every time when I encounter a bug, or every time I, feel tired and totally unmotivated, I have to literally look back and say, David, what is your mind thinking right now? Like, what are you feeling? What stories, what past memories or imaginations are you making up in your head right now that is making you feel this type of way, that is making you pull back from this situation? And even today, after coming back from an intense gym session, I was like tired, I was fatigued, I just couldn't be fucked doing anything, right? But still, my friend's rejection made me just clicked so hard that even though I was tired, I still put my ass back up here and did something. Like I was trying to watch some mindset videos. I was trying to read books, but I could feel the muscle aching. My legs were so sore, and I was laying back, and my mind was just not in it, right? When I was reading the books, like everything was getting blurry, and I just wanted to sleep. And that was a mindset issue, because when I acknowledged that the fact that I was tired, I just said to myself in the moment, David, you're not fucking tired. Like, no matter what, you're not tired. Because I know that if you were to switch on Netflix, or if you were to play games, or if you were to do anything else, you would be laser focused. Like your mind and your eyes will not get blurry if you are watching Netflix. And I know that because that is what happens every time I feel tired. I distract myself from the work. And therefore, it is not a work problem, it is a mind problem. So I realized, okay, David, even though you may feel fatigue, even though your fatigue may be valid because you were training hard at the gym and you have been on a calorie deficit, an intense one, and you are not eating any carbohydrates, maybe you can justify for all this crap. And that is exactly the story I tell myself incessantly. So I show up to work like a zombie, or I show up to work on my table after an intense training session like I don't give a fuck, because I said to myself, it is fine to feel like this because you can justify for your excuse. But I didn't, right? I just said, no, I'm not gonna think like that this day. And even though I was totally tired, I said, okay, I acknowledge that I'm tired, but what can I do to feel better? So I stretched, so I laid on the floor and closed my eyes and tried to, just calm the fuck down. And afterwards, I sat here and it did nothing, right? Even though it kind of worked in the moment because I was not reading or I was not watching any, productive videos, I felt still tired. But I was just keep saying to myself, like whenever my eyes or mind was dozing off, I said to myself, David, you are not tired. You are not tired. You are not tired. You are energized if you want to feel energized. And over time, I began to kind of like just be okay. Like my fatigue slowly waned out, and even making this video right now, just talking, is hyping myself up, and I'm no longer tired, right? Yes, you could say that, oh, maybe it's been a while since you trained and your muscles feeling better, or perhaps, maybe you did this and that. And sure, maybe, yeah, that may be the truth. Or in the moment, I could have just said to myself, David, you're tired, so let's just pop on a movie and watch it till work, and then go to work and then come back feeling all depressed because you have done nothing. And I don't want to feel like that anymore. Because I cannot allow one of my friends to think he is better than me. I cannot allow I just can't stand no longer to see that stare and look in other people's eyes that they think I am nothing, and they don't respect me because they think I amount to nothing. I just can't. I simply cannot. And that really is the fuel. That is the fuel. And I think that has always been the fuel. Which is why I never took rejection so lightly. Which is why after my first rejection, I got into shape. And maybe after a while, I have lost my touch. Maybe after a while, I have gotten comfortable. And I have been comfortable for a long time until, a few days after my best friend said I ain't gonna be shit. So I'm gonna prove all of them wrong. I'm gonna prove all of them wrong, but actually for once in my life, getting my shit together and taking life seriously. And I will do everything in my power to just get my mindset sorted. Because, I'm almost in a way convinced that today, if I can just sit here and overcome my symptoms of fatigue by just saying to myself and being fully conscious of the fact that I can overcome this with changing my internal self-talk, then I am convinced I can do the same for anything else. And I think the only problem, and really the only problem stopping me from this, is to actually be willing to stay conscious and not allow your internal beliefs to win over. And I think that will be challenging. But acknowledging that to be a challenge will be an excitement for you to overcome. Because who doesn't like a challenge, right? We all want to throw down a challenge. So this is my challenge, and I ain't gonna take it lightly, because I know that if I want to get a different result, if I want to become different, if I want to just, have some respect from people, and most importantly myself, then I better do something different and stop being so careless about my own little purpose and vision I so say I do have. All right, so with that being said, guys, I hope you guys had an amazing day, first of all, and of course, like always, are doing better than yesterday. But if not, like always, I'll be here for you guys tomorrow. But until then, good night.